go. Let's go. What up, man? Oh, jump, man. Listen, I was gonna start off with a song, B, but I'll save that for the pregame. I'll say that
All right.
because
It's not going to be the same show now, but whatever.
it won't, man. I think we'll actually keep a couple subscribers now.
Yeah,
We're good.
yeah, they appreciate that.
Yeah, their ears are like, thank you, God. Thank you, God. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to It's More Than Black or White. This is Paul and Brian chilling on a recording in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Beautiful sunny day, man. It's good.
Bruh. Listen, man. I was walking this morning. I was just like, you ever have those walks where you're just like taking everything in and you like close your eyes, you're just like, oh,
Crisp air. Oh, yeah. Just want to stay out there for a little longer and just take it in.
Oh, wait. And listen, party people that are watching, at the time of this recording, this is like mid-October. It's like that. Last weekend, we had a really nice weekend in the Northeast, and now it's like that crispness in the air is great for fire and just sunny out. Lovely.
Mm-hmm.
And we are here with more habits. Listen, we've been getting great feedback on the habit videos that we've been putting out so far. Thank you for following. Thank you for subscribing. And thank you for the comments. They are heard and acknowledged. We appreciate you. We are Paul and Brian. B, what's going on, B? How you feel, B?
Feeling good, man. Just got back from beautiful West Africa maybe like 2 days ago. So I'm still it's good to be back. I love traveling, but it's nothing like being back at home. I was like, man, it was like 104, 105 degrees out there with humidity. So coming back the other day, it was like 70 degrees. And it's like, I could relate what you were saying. I just want to be outside and just like breathing like crisp air. And it was just beautiful, man. So good to be back and, start working on my goals that I set up for Q4 and start getting into Q1 and make shit happen, man. Make shit happen.
Living.
That's it, baby.
Fourth quarter living, baby. Who you with? All right. And listen, this fourth quarter living, part of it is establishing habits. Notice what Brian said. He's looking at his goals for Q4 and then like Q1 started off. So that's one of the reasons we are putting these podcasts or these shorts out, these shorter clips out nowish. Now's the time for you to lock into a habit or two, potentially three, as long as you can do it consistently. And we have some other, we have more tools here to lay out for you. So in the honor of the alphabet, we are going to have Brian go first.
Okay. All right. So my sixth one would be conscious of what you're putting in and on your body. So I contribute a lot of my, success over the last couple of years, probably like, 10, 15 years, to be able to think clearly, have good intuition, good judgment on moving into future business projects or just on myself in general. And I try not to bring down my energy. So eating clean, not putting toxic food in my body, not putting toxic chemicals on my body that's going to mess up my thought process is huge for me. So I learned this a long time ago through, again, Paul Chek, about what you put on your body will dictate or what you put in and on your body will dictate your mental and emotional, I guess, characteristics. So I need to stay sharp. And I mean, I'm not saying me, but like everyone needs to stay sharp if you want to be successful. So putting something in your body that's going to be toxic is going to create a toxic mind over time. It's going to create a mentally and emotionally toxic environment. Then you start attracting toxic circumstances, toxic people towards you. So it's kind of like, what's that hermetic law? Like on one side is what's above below.
As above, so below, man. What you got inside, you got outside too.
Yes, perfect. Thank you. As above, so below. So whatever you're putting toxins in your body, you're gonna have toxic circumstances coming at you from the exterior. So be very careful what you put in. You get one meat vessel this lifetime, so take care of it.
Yo, treat that meat suit nice. Treat it nice. Dude, I really appreciate this one. I appreciate all these. And this one is, I'm recognizing how much intention this takes, though, B.
Yeah.
Like this takes intention, bro, to really pay attention to what I'm putting into my body, what I'm putting on it. Like, so we recently had that podcast with Ayana.
Yeah.
I noticed, like, since I think it was even before that, but like that I started using her products. But then like I started noticing a lot of the other things that I would usually use, like the Dove or the Nivea or like the stuff, the fresh body wash, and then looking at the different ingredients and recognizing that our skin is an organ just like our liver, just like our kidney. So what are the things that I'm allowing to settle into my skin that's actually integrating into my body? And I think that's something really, I think that's something that most people, it takes patience to look at, because you really got to do your due diligence to find something that works with your body, right? And,
Yeah.
and also including what you're putting in it. Like I know, for example, I used to, I used to love a little bit of coffee with a lot of milk and sugar, right?
Mhm.
That was my junk. Now, no, man, I have black coffee, a little bit of maple syrup, and some cinnamon. And it's like, because now it's like I don't feel gassy. So I'm
Yeah.
noticing, what am I putting in my body? And if I have oat milk, like, bro, you know how much of a pain in the ass it was to find like a good oat milk?
Yeah. Good luck.
Bruh,
Yeah.
I'm serious, B. Three freaking supermarkets to find something that had oats, filtered water, and sea salt, bruh.
Yeah. Ever since I started fasting maybe like about 3 months ago, and I love it. But I wake up in the morning, I just have black coffee now. That's it. And no issues. I thought I would miss it. I mean, yeah, it tastes a little better when you have a good sweetener in there, and of course, or you have like some organic. But like, I'm totally fine with it. And I noticed too is like I wake up every morning like 5:30, and I start. That's where my brain is sharpest. It is in the morning when my cortisol levels are high, and I get up and I get all these good ideas.
Yeah,
My body's rested the night before, but I know like, well, I think they're good ideas.
yeah. You think so? You're like, this is
Yeah.
genius. Yeah,
Yeah, sometimes I'm wearing the dunce cap, but for the most part, like I get a lot of my good intuition and good like creative sparks coming in the morning. But I notice like
yeah.
the night before, if I like, you know, have a cheat meal, if you would say, like, or I would have like go out and have like maybe like two drinks, I would just feel like not only crap the next morning, but I know I don't have that creative spark. And a part of me that gets like I'm almost like pissed off because I'm like, because I know what I'm doing to my body, and I'm just not disciplined. I'm
Mm,
giving up long term gain for short time satisfaction. So that bothers me a little bit too. And I look at that as like weakness, and I'm a type of person where like I'm sure most people are. They don't like to feel weak. So because almost like you're being vulnerable, or you're
mhm.
not stepping up to the challenge. So I try to limit. I'm going out tonight. I'll have a drink, but I try not to limit it to like more than like one or two drinks
Mhm.
once every 2 weeks, if
Yeah.
that. You know, but or I try to drink cleaner, like stuff like maybe my only drink right now I do is tequila,
Yeah.
because it's agave, no grains, nothing sprayed with glyphosate. I don't drink beer in this country,
Mm,
just for a
mm.
lot of chemical reasons and everything like that. But my main thing is like I'm so focused on like an end result and what I want out of my life in the next 5 years, and
Yeah.
I need to be sharp. So having discipline and putting taking make sure I'm not putting any stuff in my body that's gonna have the adverse effect, because everything balances out. You know what I mean? So
Everything, bro.
yeah,
Everything balances out, bro. I'm really appreciating what you're saying. I want to also highlight something about what I heard you say in relation to this topic, that the things that we put in our body, be mindful of the energy that we have when we're putting in our body. So
yeah,
like when I'm hearing you say like, hey, I'm going out tonight, like I know you're away. I know you're going out with Ayani, man. You guys are gonna have a good time and like chill,
mhm,
connect, man. Like, so there's a different energy around it, rather than being like, yo, I'm gonna go freaking hang out and get my drink on with a hoo-ha. You know what I mean? There's a different kind of energy, or an energy of
yeah,
escaping something. There's an energy of celebration, which in turn, and we've talked about this in past podcasts, where in turn that now you're changing the chemistry of that substance. You're making it more conducive for your body to use it effectively. So I think that's huge. I want to make sure that we, like, especially this is a part of being conscious. of what we put on and in our body and the energy around it. Now, hey, that's a good one, B.
What do we got, man?
Bruh. So this is a spin. This is a slight variation because I get, it's like a freaking toothache when people are always talking about positive affirmations, but then I see them talking crazy shit. Like, so anyway, so my habit is to practice self-pep talks. What? Yes. Practice self-pep talks. So just like Brian was talking about, like, listen, be conscious of what you put on and in your body. This is more about be conscious of what you're saying to yourself. Now, there's a lot of people, I love me some yoga. And that whole community comes with a whole bunch of talk tracks like positive affirmation, namaste, all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And positive affirmations are great. The thing is, though, is if your subconscious is like you're full of shit, you're actually going to make your situation a lot worse than when you first freaking started. You know what I'm saying, B? So the thing why I talk about practice self-pep talk is because now this is your opportunity to practice how is it that you get to speak to yourself to help get you through. So, for example, for me anyway, there's some times in the morning where it's like there's got to be a positive self-pep talk where I'm like, hey man, listen, you've been in here 10 minutes too long. Get your ass up. It's that time. Like, hey, listen, then there's sometimes where I'm gonna be like, hey, listen, just go do some sun salutations and you can come back into bed afterwards. Knowing good and damn well, after I do the sun salutations, I'm not going back to bed, son. It's like I've had to learn the ways to talk to myself because the thing is I would be over positive B, where it's just like happy whatever day it was when inside I was freaking really pissed off and just like holding a lot of shit. So one of the things I recognize is that by me really practicing, what are the ways that I speak to myself? Okay, yeah, that's a line, and that's gonna get me moving. Now, there's times where the reason why it's a practice is because there's times when you're gonna talk to yourself and try to fool yourself. You know what I mean? Like that, and it could sound like this, people. That extra chocolate chip cookie won't hurt. Just do it. And have 3 more for the next couple times. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's usually a voice of avoidance. Okay? That's far from a pep talk. That's a destroyer talk that's being all slick and sly and getting you to freaking slide down the path of destruction. So practice your self-pep talks. What do you get to say to yourself or parts of yourself that are going to get you into action? That's what I got.
I love it. Yeah, I think the important thing is what I picked up from what you're saying is getting out of bed. It's like this times where I wake up and like the alarm clock goes off at like 5 o'clock. I'm like, fuck. And I kind of like sit there for like 5 seconds. I'm like debating. And then like an inner voice is like, your competition's sleeping right now. I'm like, okay, I'm up.
Yeah, I'm up.
Here. I'm up. Your competition's sleeping. When I go on my phone, sometimes I get distracted. I go on my phone. I'm like, your little voice is like, your competition's on there scrolling too. I'm like, all right, put the phone down. Let's go. So I'm very competitive. Like sports, like I'm competitive, but like I care less if I win or lose. Business, like
whole different shebang bang.
It's different. I'm super, super competitive. I have like that mindset where you're not going to outwork me to a certain extent. So I work hard so I can chill later. So that's my mindset. So it's like you got to give yourself the pep talks. I love that. That was good.
Dude, you and I love what you said there because you just did a perfect example of it. That's your specific pep talk that's going to get you to move.
Yeah.
People, this is what I'm talking about with this. There's a specific language that's for you that's going to push the right buttons to get your ass to move.
Mm-hmm.
That won't work for anybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, you gotta find what triggers you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like,
so
little agitation, like So sorry, B. What's one more? What you got? What you got for me?
Yeah, this kind of goes in what I was just talking about. Start a side hustle and work on it every day. You know, I was thinking about this, and I don't know if I picked it up from somebody or I was just meditating. And I think we're so, what's the word? Like so manipulated with education in this world. And what I mean by that is we had this mindset as a society. It was like, find the job, that you want. And first of all, no one, I shouldn't say no one, not everyone loves their job. I hear it all the time. Oh, I love what I do. Like, motherfucker, like, you do not love what you do. I love traveling. I will not miss a day in my life traveling if I can travel every single day. What's the happiest part of the week at work? It's Friday, right when the 5 o'clock hits or whatever time you're about to leave, and you're going, hey, if you loved what you do, you would stay extra days, or you would stay extra hours. You when you're on PTO, I'm sure you love it more than being at work. So you don't love what you do. You tolerate what you do. You like your job, but because it's fun or whatever like that, but you do not love what you do. But again, kind of going to my point is, we're in a society where it's like, find a job, and then after you find that job, figure out a lifestyle with the money that you make from that job that'll support your lifestyle. And that's why I think a lot of people are depressed. They have a lot of anxiety, where it should be, hey, find the lifestyle that you want and then create a jobs around it that make you happy, or create that lifestyle. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that
And
does.
I did this a few years ago. It really set me. It really had I had an epiphany. And like, for me, like, I love to travel. I like financial freedom. I don't want to be stuck in a in a concrete wall, in a concrete box. You know, 50 out of the 52 weeks, I don't want to answer to anybody. I don't want to work for a corporation where you're just it's kind of like jail. You're just a number. It's like, and I just don't want to be part of that. So how do I create jobs around that where I can have all that stuff?
Yeah.
And this is where it kind of goes back to, like, be careful what you put in and on your body, because you're not going to get that intuition. You're not going to get that spark. You're not going to hear that inner voice if you keep putting toxic shit in your body that's lowering your vibration, because you're not going to hear anything up on the higher vibrating poles. So find your jobs that will support it. Sometimes you might have to buy a small business. Sometimes you might have to create your own business. Sometimes you might have to, maybe you take 10% out of your 9 to 5 job and you put it to the side. Instead of investing in a 401k, put it to the side and invest in yourself. You get much bigger returns later on in life, and start building that, or work on your side business. And every day do something. Every day create some kind of action, and limit distractions around you. Put good people, have all around you. Have mentors, and just do something every single day. And it's amazing. And I talk to people all the time, and I don't get it. Like, the people are like, oh, I want to do what you do, or I want to, like, I wish I can do what you do. And I'm like, you can. There's nothing different about me than you. I'm just more disciplined at doing it. I'm like, and they're like, yeah, I know. I'm like, all right, like, what are you doing? What'd you do yesterday? Oh, and they're like, well, yesterday was a bad day. All right, what'd you do last week? Oh, I read a book. I read like 10 pages. So in the whole week, you read 10 pages on something. That's all you did. And you expect to get to a lifestyle that you really want and that you love? Not going to happen, So, I mean, it goes a little deeper, but take action, do something every day.
This right here, I think, is going to need to be an episode, bro. Because I got a lot of stuff coming up right now as you're talking about this. Because I'm like, oh, we could talk about that. What do I want to talk about? Like, bro, oh my goodness, brother, this one right here, this is something else, bro. Because again, this is a willingness. This is a wanting to, like, tap in and, okay, I want to do this. And this also comes in with what we've talked about before, with having some sort of goal or intention, like, this is the direction that I'm moving in. Coming back to something that you said in the beginning and moving forward, right? Like, when you talked about the school system and the manipulation, I think that there's a supreme manipulation to think that, okay, well, everything is just going to happen, or like, okay, I did this and this is what's going to come next, rather than be like, okay, I'm going to keep learning my skill. Now, the one thing I think was really important is that when you're talking about have a side hustle and work on it every day, I think that's the piece that's that's really important, because that's also the integration of what you're learning. Because if I have a side hustle, like, so I'm working on these t-shirts for like the logo, right? And like I saw you like mess with like the drop ship and stuff, but like one of the things is I'm learning about it. It's like they're talking about putting on different products and like, you know, check different products and like look at like what's out there. And I'm finding like as I do that every day, and as I start to work on little things, like as I start to maybe use Chat GPT differently, or as I'm reading something and then I'm writing something every day, like I'm chipping away at getting to my end game. So the times when I'm like, I'll work on it over the weekend, I lose steam.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens when I lose steam is now it's like, okay, I'm pushing something, I'm pushing the boulder uphill. Think about this, people. I'm working towards a goal, pushing a boulder uphill. Now, if I stop, I gotta hold that boulder. It's gonna wear me down. Now, if I'm every day, if I'm taking a step with the boulder, I keep moving the boulder until I get to where I need to go. As soon as if I'm trying to like, oh, let me take 10 steps and then rest. Let me all of a sudden now I'm washed out. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm frustrated. I'm pissed because why am I not getting to like what this person's doing? Bro, it's because like this isn't happening every day.
Yeah, I agree. And a little side note too, or a little, pro tip, I guess, that side hustle, you don't have to love that either. You just
Right.
got to make sure it generates enough money to fulfill your love. So for me, like, I mean, I have a couple businesses on the outside. I don't love what I do or within the business, but I love creating something and I love building a business. But I don't love exactly what I sell, or I'm into what I sell and the niches that I sell.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the money that it makes. And then what's beautiful about it is, just say hypothetically, it's making me $10,000 a month. I can
Yeah.
pay a VA or a virtual assistant later to do all the stuff I don't like for 10% of that, which I'm more than happy about. Now it frees up all my time. Now I can travel, I can do all this other stuff. And every morning, of course, I'm looking over the business, making sure like everything is good. And I check in, and literally like right now, like I probably work like maybe an hour a week on my businesses, you know, and the money that I'm making, and I travel and everything like that. Don't get me wrong. It takes a while. It took me like, I mean, I've been an entrepreneur for like almost 20 years, and I definitely fell on my face fucking 10,000 times, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
keep going, keep going, keep going. And you're supposed to, you're supposed to struggle early. That's the whole point, you know, universe is testing you to see if you really want it. And
Bro,
for me, I'm very stubborn.
brother, I'm gonna say that again. The universe is testing you to make sure you really want it.
Hmm. Yeah.
All right, we're done.
We're done.
That's the podcast. All right, everybody have a good night.
Have a good night.
Peace.
Take care. Well, I want to know yours, man. What's your second one?
Okay. This one right here. This is a body, brain, and spirit one. All right. And this is one that I've recently taken on, right? To make sure that and this is in alignment. Like my side hustle is my health. One of my side hustles is my health. So my working on it every day is like moving my ass every day, like exploring something in my body. So this is what it is, people. My habit is to move in all planes. And actually, I'm gonna adjust that. Move in all planes of motion. So what's that? Well, I'm glad you asked. So the planes of motion are your frontal plane, means that it cuts your body in a front and a back. So any type of movement from side to side. Okay. So that could be a lateral lunge. Sometimes I skip sideways down my driveway in the morning in between jump rope. Like, but people probably think I'm crazy, but they already know that. And then there's transverse. So cutting my body in half. Anything with a twisting motion. Anything with a twisting motion. So if you're stepping in front, you do a lunge and turn. Or if you want to sit on a sit-up position and do some crunches, anything that's going to move your body, there's something called a cross crawl that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. It's going to really just all of a sudden you can be like, why is my heart rate going like this? Because you're moving your body in all these planes. There's a third plane too called the sagittal plane, which is cuts your body in a left and a right. So that's anything moving forward. So if you want to grab some weights, start walking, you want to do some lunges forward, you want to do reverse lunges back, bicep curls, tricep, whatever. Move in all three planes of motion. Why is that? Because first of all, from a physical perspective, it keeps your body limber. It keeps your body in exploration. From a mental perspective, moving your limbs in all these different planes is a great way to practice your proprioception. Where is your body in space? Now that translates to the spiritual, right? Because now, as you move in all these different directions, I'm noticing that when I come to it, when a problem comes up or a challenge comes up, I'm more willing to see in different parts or different planes of this experience. So I think it's important. Remember, what do we do physically impacts what happens to us mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all these things. So move in these different planes of motion. It's extremely important, especially like, look, I'm 49, so I'm gonna be 50 next year. My intention is to get to 108. So my thing is I want to be limber, and that means like, okay, is it always lifting a lot of heavy weights? Yes, at times, but also like moving my body. You know what I mean? So that's my habit.
Yeah, I like that. As a person that, like, I've done a lot of program design courses. I would say about 90% of exercises, 95% of exercises are all done in the sagittal plane with most
Yep.
people.
Yep.
So and you got a lot of, like, we talk about physiological, effects on it. Like, you have like pumping mechanisms in your body, which pushes like lymphatic drainage up and down, and it's very hard to do that just in a sagittal plane. So to help detoxify your body and everything like that, transverse stuff, rotation stuff, side to side, super important for a lot of reasons besides just like, a physical aspect of it, more physiological, mental, emotional too. So that's great. It's
Yeah,
great.
thank you, man. That's one of the reasons I love. That's one of the things I encourage people to take a yoga class.
Yeah.
Because in a yoga class, like there will be ways, or any type of stretch class, any type of dynamic class. I know, like at LT, they have a dynamic trainer, right? Like they have there's dynamic movements, and like I didn't even think about the lymph node, the lymph system. Like
Yeah.
body's a pump, man. It needs to move. The spine, like woo, like what? Move your ass, man.
The cerebral spinal fluid too needs to function. It goes up and down your brain, goes up and down all the way down to your coccyx bone. It goes up and down, and it flushes it out. And once it becomes stale, it's almost like a pond. Like filth starts building up, and you can't be creative. You can't do all this other stuff. And it's funny, like when I used to work with people, like at the gym, they're like, "Oh yeah, I've been working out for 20 years." I'm like, "All right, cool. Let's get out there. Let me see some movements and stuff like that." And it's like, and they can do so much stuff in the sagittal plane, but I'm like, "All right, I'll do a side lunge." And it's like watching a newborn baby giraffe. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, what happens if like something's coming out? You got to move out of the way really quick,
Bruh, it's crazy, right? It's like they short circuit.
Yeah.
Bruh, it's banana. Yeah. I used to, bro. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I can see like the brain wants to move a certain way, but the body's like,
I don't know what I'm doing right now, bro. It's the wildest thing because when I do these intro yoga sessions, right? And we go into like there's a pose called the half malasana. So basically, it's like a lateral lunge, and we hold that junk. And it's crazy to see people like they're like have to settle in until they're all of a sudden their body's like, oh, I didn't know I had access to this. Like, yeah, you do, man. Like, then they're like, man, my butt, I'm feeling these muscles. Right, yes, exactly. Because listen, the thing why I think this is important to be as a habit is because in our society, naturally, we unconsciously create these habits of a protruding neck, right, or like our head forward, looking in the position I'm sitting in right now. Usually, I'm like this, or I'm like, or I'm like,
yeah.
right? So we're in first of all, our hips are in flexion majority of the day, because even people will be in a seating position, and then they'll go to the gym and they're just in a seated position doing exercise. And free adjustment, I'm just encouraging people like move around a little bit.
Yeah.
While you're standing, you know what I mean?
Kind of going off topic a little bit, but kind of staying on topic. I remember taking a Paul Chek is a series of courses that you can take, and I think it's a level 1 course. There's exercise, used to be like exercise program or exercise science, and it was like I forgot the name of the courses, but anyway, one was on infant development. So it talks about like the stages of infant development. So like one of the first things would be like, when a baby lays on his back, you'll be like, see a baby in a crib, then you wake up and they can't walk or they can't crawl yet, but they'll be on the other side of the crib. So what they do is they use their neck to kind of create their core function. So their limbs don't work. The limbs don't work yet because the myelination on the nerves are not covered with fat yet. So they don't know how to use their arms and everything like that and their legs yet. So it takes about good like 3 to 4 months for that myelination, like the cover of the sheath of the nerves to kind of, set in place so they can start using their arms. But in the meantime, they still move around, but they use their neck. So we used to have like clients that had like really bad neck issues or low back issues. We used to put them up in the fetal position. I'd be like, all right, now go to the other end of the floor without moving your legs or without using your legs and your arms. Just use your head. And God, their core would just fire up.
Fire up, bro.
And
fire up.
I would have I used to train this basketball player out of Orlando. He played for the Orlando Magic. He came with me with a really bad back pain. And I was trying all these assessments and everything like that. And nothing was working. Then I was like, let me see you crawl. And he couldn't crawl. He didn't know how to crawl. He was couldn't do a base move. This is a guy that plays at an NBA level and he didn't know how to crawl on the floor. Like he would just stop. He didn't know what to do. And I was like, let me ask you a question. Like, did you have like hardwood floors growing up? And he's like, yeah. Like, how do you know? So like when babies, that's why it's another thing. Like when you have kids, you don't want them to start crawling on a hardwood floor because they won't put their knees on the ground. It hurts the kid. So they'll put their knees up and they'll start crawling weird. And they won't have the natural function of crawling.
Yeah.
That'll create instability because that's where you get all your instability muscles, all your stabilizer muscles.
Yeah.
So your stabilizer muscles earlier on in life. So when you have like hardwood floors and your kid's crawling, or you always keep them in that that binky, whatever the fucking the thing is.
Yeah, I was like bang, bang, bang. Yeah.
Well, the parents think it's cute and they can kind of walk around, but they're learning how to walk before they learn how to crawl, and that shuts off. Not even shuts off. It just doesn't build all your stabilizer muscles. So later in life, you're just more susceptible to pain. But once I taught him how to crawl, and I started doing like inchworm stuff with the neck, like everything went away. So it's just fascinating how the body works, and you're talking about planes of motions. So I don't know why I threw that in there, but
I'm so happy. But dude, this is what I'm talking about though, because the plane and it actually ties into what we talk like when you talk about side hustle every day. And I was like, yeah, my side hustle is my health. Like one of the things I started incorporating back into was animal flow, right? So animal flow is a ground-based movement, contralateral movements, and like I recognized, I was like, I'm going to try and get into all the advanced movement. I'm like, nope. I'm right here at the beginning. I'm sitting here doing a beast, which I'm just sitting here holding this position and then relearning how to crawl with my knees on the carpet and like lifting limbs. Because what happens is this is brain circuitry.
Yes.
When we're working with this contralateral movement, I wish I'm really happy that we're talking about this because I want more people to understand these activities that kids are doing, these infants are doing. This is advanced stuff. And because when we get older, we think we're more advanced because we can walk around and sit and we can do all these movements, but we lose the core foundation of being able to move through our body and these transfer stations and all these. Like I love watching kids move. And I used to do this thing with people. I laid out the mat and they'd have their back on the mat and I'd have them like move across to the other side. And they had to learn how to use their shoulders, their spine. And it was like they had to short circuit, but over time, they started to maneuver a lot smoother and back and forth. Bruh, this is enough, man.
I think we came up with like 3 different episodes now.
Yeah, we just did. Golly. All right, everybody, listen. We're coming back for another part, whatever part is coming. And listen, we appreciate you. Stay tuned. And listen, if you like these habits, like, share, subscribe. This is important that we get these out here because, again, Brian and I are really pushing it. We're hitting the gas coming up, man. We've been hitting the gas. You guys have been following us on social media networks and platforms. Thank you. I think we're over 3,000 right now on IG at the time of this recording. Bless up to you, B, for what you're doing. these videos is freaking. Listen, we got it all for you people. What's up, baby? All right, so listen, let's go to the next one, and we will see you soon.
Peace.